partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I'm Carolyn McDonald, and I'm here with Jack Gaertner to talk about his film, Portraits in Cold. Let's take a look at a clip.
That was us Easter, the Easter before. He was sitting on the porch, and I just reached over and kissed him, and the kids caught it. Yep. I love it. I've never let nobody cover up with it, nothing.
Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm really eager to talk to you about your film, Portraits in Cold. So tell me, how did this story come to you? How did you find out about it and want to tell this story?
So it's kind of a long story that, you know, being a documentary story, a lot of it is tied to personal experience, and mainly through a church group that I was a part of growing up all through high school and into college. We used to go on a trip every summer to West Virginia, to Whitesville, the town that the doc is shot in. And we over that time just got really ingrained in the community. And so I met a lot of the people who were in the doc and got to know them before shooting. And then the last time that I went, I was like, okay, I'm a young filmmaker. I'm trying to get into documentaries. Why not bring a camera and just kind of find a story while I'm there? So I didn't really have it planned out. But over the course of the week that we were there, I was able to talk to people and kind of look at the community through more of a documentarian's lens this time, and that yielded some really interesting stories from these people that I had known for a while that I had never, heard this part of their story before. So yeah, we set up the camera and just started rolling and got some good stories.
And how long did it take you to shoot it?
So it was shot over the course of 1 week, but the post process was a different animal in itself, because it's for me one of the biggest challenges was trying to do justice to this community that I was very close with through the project. So there was a lot of kind of cutting things together and trying it out, and then going in a different direction, and a lot of attention paid to making sure that this was something that told a valuable story, but also did justice to the community in a way, and making it so that it was a piece that the community could be proud of as well.
Right, absolutely. And so over the course of how many years did you get to know the community through going there on a regular basis? And from those people that you got to know, what was the process of choosing who were the subjects in the film?
It was definitely a process. I mean, I was talking about this last night with my family and some people that we were talking about, just documentaries in general. Because you always hear this documentary was shot over the course of 10 years, 20 years. And it's in some ways, you could say that for this film, but I think the first 7 years of documentary prep, I had no idea I was doing documentary prep. So it was 7 years from the first time I went to Whitesville to when we shot the doc. And yeah, so it had been 7 years of meeting these people, and choosing who we shot interviews with was kind of based on, obviously we're in an Appalachian mountain town. There were people with great stories that weren't comfortable being on camera. And there were people who had a lot of the similar stories. And there were some interviews that we shot that didn't make the final cut. And so it was really kind of a combination of how the subject matter of that interview kind of cut in and served our story in a way. and also just who was willing to talk to us,
Right,
and who was willing to be on camera, because it feels weird.
Right, yeah,
to-
and
to
also
be on
too, it's
camera.
really well crafted in terms of the linear story, you know, because I was thinking of telling these 29 men, you know, and what happened
Mm-hmm.
in that event. And you did a really nice job of choosing. That's why I asked about that process of choosing who was in, and of those 29 people and of
Mhm.
those stories, I'm sure they did each have very, very rich stories to tell, and
Yeah.
the lives in the community also as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what happened is truly like a tragedy of large proportion.
Right.
That was the biggest thing to me, for those who are unfamiliar with the disaster in 2010. It was an explosion at the Upper Big Branch mine, killed 29 miners. And you got to think about it too from the perspective of a small community of, I think today it's less than 500
Right,
people in this town.
right.
That's a huge disaster to happen. And so a lot of the people that we talked to did have similar stories of grief and, you know, coming back from like such a huge disaster, like just kind of a community resurgence.
Sure.
So that was something that we definitely got into with them, and ended up making its way into the final cut.
Yeah, and how being, like you just said, from a small town, and how it touched the lives of everyone, you know, this incident, absolutely, it touched
Yeah.
the lives of everyone.
Yeah.
So talk about, after you shot this film, with, you know, the interviews, how did it influence you as a person, you know, to see it all pulled together, and in having these really in-depth conversations as well? How did it influence you as a person and as a filmmaker?
That's a good question. In a lot of ways that I don't think I could really get into in a 30-minute interview.
I understand.
I think there's kind of like the personal piece of it. In, you know, there's kind of like some big existential questions that are brought about in this piece. There's the crazy kind of juxtaposition that is not unique to the mining space, but of kind of cultural identity and cultural pride butting up against some real like damage
Yeah.
that industry has caused to not only the environment, but to the people who it employs.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's kind of one thing that, you know, you realize, and kind of makes the world a little muddier
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of like,
The
you know,
whys.
yeah.
And the thing that stuck with me personally was these guys knew the danger. Like they not embraced it, but
Yeah.
wasn't there a situation where some of them had written letters
Yeah.
ahead of time, and they didn't know
Yeah.
that was going to happen, but they knew something, it was very, 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 very
Yeah.
possible that something would.
Yeah, I mean, Annette talked about it in the film of the woman who, and we included a clip of one of the women who wrote, or who received the letter from, it was her son who wrote the letter to his wife. But I mean, it's just mind blowing that it going back to even the archival footage of the miner. This was shot in 1968, and it's black and white, and that he's talking about the interviewer is saying, you know the risks, but you still go, and his answer is, well, if you're going to be a miner, you might as well go.
Right. Yeah.
So it's, I mean,
yeah.
they know the risks, and even in today's world where you think with modern technology and techniques we would be able to protect people more, but I mean, the disaster like UBB is a reminder that it's still a very dangerous job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely, and I can imagine, 10 minutes to answer a question like that is not enough. I can only
Yeah.
imagine, because me
Yeah.
watching it, I'm thinking so many things. You're right, on so many levels, from existential to, the environment, safety, basic things. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a filmmaker, does this inspire you to go on and tell rich, deep stories again?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we do as filmmakers, I think, and there's a reason that I was inspired to make this film, and I will definitely continue to create. And yeah, in terms of kind of like themes, one thing that I would like to continue to inform my work is that idea of kind of like Americana, with like everything going on in the world, as crazy as things feel right now. I think there is some value that can be added by taking a look at ourselves and at our communities around our country.
Absolutely.
So I think that's just kind of one of the, pervading themes that I hope to continue telling stories about.
Absolutely, I hope so. And stories, little known stories like these, not a lot of people know about this story. So I really appreciate that.
Is true, but also through like the response to this film, I've had so many people come up to me and be like, I'm like, somebody just last night came up to me and was like, I'm from Kentucky. This painted such an accurate picture of like the community that I was a part of. I've had so many people come up to me and say like, oh, I'm from this part of the world. Like, this was really cool. And, told this story that I hadn't seen before. So
Awesome.
it is a small community, but it's definitely something that I think a lot more people are knowledgeable about than even I knew existed. So that's been cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to filmmakers, documentarians, of a lesson that you learned that you would share with new filmmakers or new documentarians?
I would say show your work to people. It's so easy to have the idea be so clear in your head of what this project is and just kind of live in that. But I think one of the things that really enabled me to finish this project and bring it to kind of what I think the best that I was able to do with it was showing it to other people and getting feedback and making it more of a collaborative process. Yeah, I just think it's that was one thing that I learned. This being my first documentary short that I really tried to, distribute and show, festival run, all that. Showing your work to people that you trust is very valuable. Showing your work to, people who know what they're doing,
Yes,
whether that's,
yeah.
Other filmmakers or editors or whatever it might be. There's really a lot of valuable input that you can get from your community of people that can allow you to see your work from a different lens and kind of step outside of it. So
Right, absolutely.
it's important.
Absolutely. And that being said, talk about your production team. And you said this is your first film as a documentarian, as a director. Talk about your team that helped you pull this together.
So it was mainly a crew of 3. It was myself, my executive producer Christian Kirby, and our second camera Jack Walsh. And it was very like scrappy run and gun shoot, as some documentary shoots can be, especially because we didn't know what we were going to end up with. So we were just kind of shooting everything and then whittling that down. I directed and edited and shot most of it myself, which was definitely a process. And if I were to do it again, I think I might have more of a crew around me to kind of
But it seems
help
like
me
it
out.
would lend itself to the intimacy of being able to talk to people and trust, so that they trust you and be able to, feel comfortable talking. So I think in this
Yeah.
situation, would you say it worked for you to have a lean crew like that?
I definitely think that, yeah, we wouldn't have been able to have the access to talk to a lot of these people with like an 8-man crew, or, if we were even lighting these interviews, which we unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to do, but it just did so much to be familiar with the subjects, not have a really intrusive setup,
Right.
and it's just, can we have our camera on your porch and have a conversation, and hope that the sun doesn't come out and
Right.
blow out the side of the house. But
Right.
yeah,
It looks great too. No, it looks really, really
Thank you.
good. And
Thank you.
again, that realistic, feel that like a fly on the wall, So it really has a really beautiful, unobtrusive,
yeah,
feel to it. So
Yeah.
so great.
thank
So
you.
where can we follow you and learn more about this film and other things you may have coming down the pipeline?
I am on Instagram. My tag is JPG_DP.
Okay.
And that JPG are my initials, so it's not like a JPEG joke, which
Okay.
I get sometimes.
Okay, right.
But JPG_DP is
Okay.
my Instagram.
Okay.
And then my YouTube Vimeo is just Jack Gaertner
Okay.
on those platforms.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming to talk to us.
Yeah,
about the
thank you
film.
for
It's
having me.
really, really beautiful and poignant. Thank you for
Thank you.
telling the story.
Thank you, I appreciate it.